What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And this is my rambling series. It's my vlogging series in which I talk about life, the universe, things around us that are particularly interesting to me. And this week, that's probably going to be all about me, my gastric bypass surgery, my recovery of the last week, some of the stories from the surgery itself, talking about the recovery and how it's been and how much more recovery I have coming up. Now, if you're watching this video on the day I uploaded it, it's been 1 week and 3 days since my gastric bypass operation. And I just got done with my 1 week post-op with my gastric surgeon, Dr. Perna up there in Rogers. I don't think I've ever said his name on film before. He's the guy that went with me, or I went with. And he said that he was cautiously optimistic. I'm definitely having a lot of symptoms and a lot of issues with recovery, but he says all of it is not particularly atypical. He says he sees this stuff all the time, and chances are it's probably going to turn out to be okay. Now, that is not to say that my recovery has been uneventful. In fact, it's been very eventful. And I certainly underestimated what recovering from this surgery was going to be like. Even though I talked to quite a few people, some people said, my pain was mid to terrible. Some people said they felt no pain at all. Mostly younger and smaller people. The larger and older people tended to have a recovery closer to mine. I guess in my mind, I thought I'd get lucky. My first indication that I was underestimating the recovery was when I got this awesome pillow in the mail. And this was handcrafted by one of my fans. Hi, by the way, thank you very much. This is one of the nicest things anybody's ever done for me. But this is what they call a coughing pillow that is designed to be held against your abdomen when you need to cough after abdominal surgery, because it turns out to be very painful. I actually laughed when I got this because I was thinking, well, certainly it's not going to be that painful. Oh, let me tell you, this has come in very useful. I woke up from surgery in an incredible amount of pain. I must have been complaining up the gills because they gave me plenty of painkillers, and for the first 24 hours I was in there, they gave me plenty of painkillers. Did not seem to help, though, no matter what they did. Now that I'm at home and the painkillers have been knocked down a few notches, and I'm up and getting up and moving around, I have to say all of that weight of my stomach pulling down on those sutures and on those wounds, and then all of the internal wounds as well, it is unbearable. And trying to roll over in bed is just something I can't do. I'm forced to sleep on my back, which is very uncomfortable because I have sleep apnea. And I'll tell you, the pain is so grandiose that, that lower back pain that I'm always complaining about, I can't even feel it. I can't even feel it because my body is too concerned with the abdominal pain. So the pain is definitely still there. I don't know how much longer it'll be there. It does seem to get a hair better every day. But I think it's going to be a little while longer than I had expected. Now, the good news is my doctor's not afraid to ramp up the painkillers in home a little bit there. I'm just still afraid to take them. They make me woozy. I hallucinate a little bit. So I try to take the absolute bare minimum. But that turns out not to be the only reason I was hallucinating and falling asleep every 5 minutes over the last week. My blood pressure actually got so low, I was just kind of passing out all the time. I literally felt like during the first week, I could not stay conscious for 5 minutes at a time, 10 minutes at a time. I would go in and out of consciousness like this. I was dizzy, woozy the whole time. It turns out it's because we continued my heart medication after the surgery, which is apparently something I did not need to do. A lot of people, their blood pressure will start to come down a week or two after the surgery. But since I did so well on the liquid diet, and because I've done so well since post-recovery, my body has just basically not needed that medication. So I was pushing my blood pressure down to dangerous levels. In fact, we ended up having to go to the clinic earlier this week because I was running a low-grade fever. And because of that, when they took my blood pressure in there, it was so low they weren't willing to let me leave until they got it up. Did I mention this is why I'm not allowed to drive post-surgery? Because, it's dangerous. I can't even drive in video games right now. I could destroy an Xbox. Good news there is that the minor fever could indicate all kinds of different problems, complications of the surgery, specifically like leakage or something along that lines in the system. The good news is it turns out not to be that. It was just a minor UTI. So it looks like it's not going to be a big deal. The antibiotics are going to kill it, and we're coasting through the rest of recovery, just in a lot of pain. Now, as for anxiety has been actually really weird. It is so much worse when I become anxious, when I become nervous, when I am relaxed and calm. The pain is so much better. I feel so much better. I'm able to stay conscious and stuff like that. I will tell you, my anxiety was at a pinnacle, though, as they wheeled me into surgery, which I guess is to be expected. The last thing I remember is trying to put on that mask that they were asking me to put on, expecting that to be like my CPAP machine and helping me breathe. And instead it was knocking me out. So I think I remember looking at the doctor and saying, I can't breathe. And then boom, I woke up in recovery. I asked him what happened there, and they said, well, we realized you're having an anxiety attack. So we went ahead and put your mind to sleep so that your body could take over, because we knew that it would, and we were there to help you. I'm so glad they did, because I can imagine even a few more seconds of anxiety there. But I will tell you, I'd never been put under before. and it literally feels like no time passed whatsoever. I don't remember feeling groggy or drowsy or waking up. I was in the surgery room 1 second and I was in the recovery room the next. And I think there was a 2 or 3 hour gap in between there, but pretty crazy stuff. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I was hoping there was some sort of cool dream reality with strippers and hookers and hot dogs, but nothing of the sort. The one thing I most feared about recovery was wanting to eat a food and not being able to eat a food. And this is what I'm absolutely fascinated by. I am not hungry at all. Not even the foods that I'm allowed to eat or the foods that I'm not allowed to eat. I look at food and it just kind of disgusts me right now. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm having a lot of bloating issues and a lot of gas issues and things along that lines. There's just no room in my body for anything else. I'm literally fighting every day to try to get enough water in to just hydrate my body. And I'm failing to do so. I'm skirting right under the lines of heat dehydration right now. Probably way lower than I should be. And a lot of people who get this surgery, they talk about the 1 week remorse. And I guess I do kind of have that remorse. Like, I definitely did not anticipate it being this difficult and this painful, even though I was told 1,000 times. I guess I just couldn't fully comprehend it. And I do definitely hate the sleepless nights and then passing out all day long and then just feeling miserable and not being able to concentrate, not being able to work and not being able to have fun, not being able to do anything except just try to recover. I hate it, but here's what I do love. I love the fact that when I look at a piece of food that I would normally devour while thinking about devouring more of it, it just kind of sits there. It doesn't mean anything. I've watched other people eat some of my favorite foods, and I'm just like, who cares? Now, that's not to say that I'm not having cravings right now. I am having cravings, and they are the weirdest cravings. It's almost exclusively fruits still. Every time I look at a piece of mango or every time I see strawberry, something along that lines, I think it looks amazing. We were doing that fruit-infused water, and I've tried it a couple of times. Fruit-flavored drinks are amazing. One day I had to take some Tylenol, so I went ahead and mixed it in with a little bit of applesauce, mango applesauce. Oh, it's like eating candy. That's all my body seems to want right now is fruit. Can't have it. Have to focus on the protein for quite some time longer. But I am supplementing a little taste of fruit every day. Yum. It tastes like a candy bar now. It tastes like a Milky Way to me. And I imagine a Milky Way would just make me disgustingly sick because of the dumping syndrome. So it's exactly where I wanted to be. Do I think it's worth it? Even right now at the end of week 1, I think it was worth all the pain and misery. But for those of you who care about numbers, here's some numbers for you. When I started that last 3 weeks of gastric bypass diet, because we did this bit of a walkabout during the summer, those 3 weeks of shakes took like 40 pounds off me. I think it was 539 when I started. I got down to right around 500 to 498. On the day of surgery, I was 492, so I guess it got me all the way down to 492. Today, I stood on my doctor's scale at 487. Now, for those of you who know, my biggest ever was 587. That was back in like 2007, 2008. But my biggest ever was 587. So I'm now officially down 100 pounds from my biggest ever, and I'm officially down, 45, 50 pounds since we started this process. So definitely, when it comes to buyer's remorse, I bought my pounds worth of flesh here. I absolutely have. And I can definitely tell the difference in my face, even just sitting here looking at the camera. I hope that you can. But the differences in my body, especially in front of a mirror, or even just the way my body moves, the way it shapes itself, or just the way it looks, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a really good feeling. I hope that I'll be getting more of those good feelings and less of this recovery pain and bullshit. But I know for a fact it's all been worth it. Now, a person of my size, my age, and everything else should lose right about 260 pounds from the surgery, which would put me right at under 250 pounds, give or take, I guess, from where I started. I think that's right. I should have done this math before making the video because I know you guys are going to misquote me on it and tell me I'm full of shit. But I think the numbers I ran through a calculator, and I should lose about 260 pounds total. And that's average for somebody my age, my height, my weight, and so on and so forth. I'm hoping to beat that number. I would like to get under 200. And I'd like to stay under 200 to 250. That's an easy goal. I don't think I'll ever be skinny. I don't think I'll ever be ripped. Certainly the numbers aren't there to indicate that. But I do definitely want to be healthier, and I do definitely want to live longer. And I think I'm in a position right now where even if I tried to screw it up, I don't think I could.